Don't scroll past this. I'm about to show you how I turned my neighbor's actual garbage into garden art, so stunning that 3 people knocked on my door asking who my landscaper was. In the next 10 minutes, you're going to see 8 incredible transformations using things you probably threw away last week, including this broken dresser that now grows $200 worth of herbs and vegetables. Welcome to Garden Homes. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. It means the world to us. But seriously, you do not want to miss what happens at the 8-minute mark. It's going to completely change how you look at trash day forever. Today I'm sharing 8 game-changing upcycling projects that will transform your garden into a professional showcase, and I'm talking about creating $50 to $200 looks for under $10 each. We're covering everything from that dresser transformation that's getting me neighbor compliments daily, to a magical fairy garden that literally glows at night, plus a self-watering system that keeps your plants perfect even when you're away for vacation. Each project uses common household items you probably have right now, and I promise you, every single one delivers that wow, how did you do that factor. The best part, my 70-year-old neighbor tried 3 of these projects last month and now has the most talked about garden on our entire street. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's turn your trash into garden treasure that'll have everyone asking for your secrets. Project 1, Vintage Dresser Vertical Garden. First up is my absolute favorite transformation, this broken dresser that someone literally put on the curb during spring cleaning. Now I know what you're thinking, that's just an old piece of furniture, but watch this magic happen because this single project saved me over $300 on my grocery bill last year. Here's exactly what you'll need, and I promise you can find everything for under $25 total. Any old dresser with drawers, I got mine free from the curb, but you can find them for $5 to $15 at thrift stores or Facebook Marketplace. You'll need landscape fabric, which costs about $8 at any home improvement store, quality potting soil for $12, drainage gravel for $5, and your choice of plants. Now let me walk you through this step by step because this technique works for any size dresser. Take your dresser and remove all the hardware. Don't worry if it's damaged or wobbly, that actually adds incredible character. Line each drawer with landscape fabric, making sure to poke drainage holes every 6 inches using a screwdriver or ice pick. Add a 2-inch layer of gravel to each drawer. This prevents root rot and creates perfect drainage. Fill with quality potting soil, leaving about an inch from the top. Here's where the magic really happens. Plant cascading varieties like cherry tomatoes, trailing petunias, or herbs in the top drawers, so they spill over beautifully. Use upright plants like lettuce, kale, or marigolds in the lower drawers. The visual effect is absolutely stunning. It looks like a living waterfall of plants. The result? This $200-looking vertical garden cost me exactly $25 to create, and it produces $150 worth of herbs and vegetables every single season. My neighbor Carol literally stopped her morning walk to ask if I hired a professional landscaper. I've harvested enough basil from just the top drawer to make pesto for my entire extended family. Plus I'm giving away fresh herbs to neighbors weekly. Quick success story, Sarah from our Garden Homes community tried this last month using an old changing table she found at a garage sale for $10. She sent me photos and her herb production is incredible. She's already harvested enough oregano and thyme to dry for winter cook. If you try this project, make sure to tag us because I love seeing your creative variation. I'm talking about any boots, hiking boots, rain boots, cowboy boots, even those worn-out work boots your husband refuses to throw away because they're still good. What you'll grab is so simple. Old boots in any condition. Honestly, the more character and wear marks, the better they look. A drill with a 1/2-inch bit, small stones or aquarium gravel, potting mix and small plants or herbs. Total cost per boot planter, $3 to $5 maximum. The transformation process is incredibly simple, but the results are pure magic. Simply drill 3 to 4 drainage holes in the sole of each boot. Add a handful of small stones for drainage. Then fill with potting mix. Plant small herbs like thyme, oregano, rosemary, or tiny succulents that won't outgrow the space. Here's what makes this project so special. Arrange them by your entrance, on garden steps, or create a whole family of boot planters telling your family's story. Use dad's work boots for sturdy herbs like rosemary, kids' rain boots for colorful flowers, mom's gardening boots for kitchen herbs. Each boot becomes a chapter in your family's story. I have to share something personal here. I used my grandmother's old gardening boots for this project, and every single time I water them, I think of her working in her Victory Garden during World War II. The herbs I planted were her absolute favorites, rosemary for remembrance and sage for wisdom. It's become my most treasured garden feature, and visitors always ask about the story behind them. There's something so beautiful about giving new life to items that held so many memories. The practical benefits are amazing too. These little herb gardens produce seasoning worth $20 to $30 each season. I planted oregano in my husband's old work boots, and I've already dried enough to last us through winter. Plus, they're perfect for people with mobility issues since you can place them at any height that's comfortable for tending. My neighbor's 8-year-old granddaughter was so inspired by my boot planters that she planted her outgrown rain boots with cherry tomato. Now she has her own little garden that's just her size, and she's so proud of those tiny tomatoes growing in her old boots. This fairy garden project will blow your mind because it costs under $8 but looks like you spent $50 at a specialty garden store, and the nighttime effect is pure magic. Here's your simple materials list. Large mason jars or any glass containers you have. I've used pickle jars, spaghetti sauce jars, even old candle jars. Small solar stake lights from the dollar store for $1 each. Moss or small plants like baby's tears. Tiny decorative elements like shells, small rocks or miniature figures if you want to go full fairy garden, and regular potting soil. Let me walk you through this step-by-step magic. Take your mason jar and create drainage by adding a layer of small stones or aquarium gravel. Fill with potting soil and plant with moss or tiny plants like baby's tears or small succulent. Here's where it gets incredible. Place a small solar light right in the center, then decorate around it with natural elements like tiny pine cones, shells, or smooth river rocks. The wow factor is unbelievable. During the day, these look like adorable miniature gardens sitting along your pathways or garden borders, but when the sun sets, they transform into glowing fairy wonderlands that make your entire garden look absolutely magical. The soft light filtering through the plants creates the most enchanting shadows and highlights. I created 12 of these for my daughter's wedding reception last summer, clustering them around the outdoor dining area and lining the walkway to the ceremony site. Guests are still talking about them 6 months later. 3 people asked if we hired a lighting designer. The bride's grandmother said it looked like fireflies had come to bless the wedding. For placement, line your garden path for a magical walkway, cluster them by your seating area for evening ambiance, or hang them from tree branches using wire handles. I have some scattered throughout my shade garden, and on summer evenings when we're sitting on the patio it looks like something from a fairy tale. Make sure to use solar lights with long stems so you can bury the battery pack while keeping the light visible. This keeps everything weather protected and creates that perfect soft glow. The lights charge during the day and automatically turn on at dusk, giving you 6 to 8 hours of magical lighting every night. Each jar costs about $6 to $8 to create, but creates the ambiance of professional landscape lighting that would cost hundreds to install. I've had mine for over a year now, and they still work perfect. During winter, I bring them onto my covered porch where they continue to provide beautiful evening light. Project 4, Tiered Tin Can Herb Tower. This next project will absolutely blow your mind. We're creating a stunning tiered herb tower using tin cans that would normally go straight to recycling. The finished result looks like an expensive garden center display that would cost $60 to $80, but we're making it for practically nothing. Round up these simple materials, various sized tin cans, remove all labels and wash thoroughly. I use everything from small tomato paste cans to large coffee cans, outdoor spray paint in your favorite color, a drill with metal bits, a wooden dowel or metal rod from the hardware store, potting soil and herb plants or seeds. Here's the assembly process that creates pure magic. Start by drilling drainage holes in the bottom of each can, 3 to 4 holes per can using a 1/4-inch bit. Paint them in coordinating colors that match your garden style. I love sage green for a natural look, or classic terracotta for Mediterranean vibe. Once completely dry, thread them onto your wooden dowel or metal rod, largest at bottom, smallest at top, leaving about 4 inches between each level. Fill each tier with quality potting soil and plant with different herbs based on their growing needs. I put basil in the large bottom can since it needs more root space, oregano and parsley in the middle tiers, and thyme or small chives at the top. The visual effect is absolutely stunning, like a living sculpture that produces food. Here's the genius part. This tower has a built-in irrigation system. When you water the top can, it naturally drains down through each level, watering the lower tiers perfectly. No overwatering, no dry spots. Just perfect moisture distribution throughout the entire tower. My herb tower produces more fresh herbs than my family of 4 can possibly use. I've been making pesto weekly, drying herbs for winter storage, and giving away bundles to neighbors. One tower gives you a $40 value in fresh herbs per season, and the basil alone saves me $15 a month since I use it in everything. You can create theme towers too, one for Italian cooking herbs like basil, oregano, and rosemary, another for tea herbs with mint, chamomile, and lemon balm. I even made a pizza tower with basil, oregano, and cherry tomatoes in the bottom tier. My teenage son actually gets excited about helping with dinner because he loves picking fresh herbs from his tower. The space-saving aspect is incredible. This tower takes up less than 2 square feet of ground space, but gives you the growing capacity of a traditional 4 by 8 foot herb garden, perfect for small patios, balconies, or anywhere you want maximum growing power in minimal space. My neighbor lives in a condo with a tiny balcony, and her herb tower produces enough basil and oregano to supply her entire book club with homemade pesto. Make sure to subscribe to Garden Homes and hit that notification bell. We're sharing budget-friendly garden magic every single week that'll save you hundreds of dollars. Now this next project is absolutely my favorite, because it solves a common garden problem while creating something gorgeous that looks like expensive landscape art. Project 5: Broken Pot Fairy Garden Magic. Now I'm going to show you how to take broken terracotta pots, you know, the ones that crack during winter freezes, and turn them into the most enchanting fairy garden that looks like it belongs in a high-end garden magazine. This project proves that sometimes the most beautiful things come from what seems completely ruined. What you'll need is probably already in your garden shed. Broken terracotta pots of any size, if you don't have broken ones. Honestly, you can carefully break some old cheap pots with a hammer. Small succulents or sedums, potting soil designed for succulents, tiny decorative elements like small pebbles, shells, or miniature accessories, if you want full fairy garden magic, and moss for those perfect finishing touches. Here's the transformation technique that creates pure magic. Take your largest broken pot and nestle the broken piece inside to create natural terracing levels. The crack becomes a feature, not a flaw. Fill the bottom level with succulent soil, then place smaller broken pot pieces to create even more planting levels. Each level becomes its own little garden room. Plant each level with different colored succulents to create this incredible living artwork. I use tiny jade plants for that deep green color, Echeveria rosettes for purple and pink tones, and string of pearls cascading down the levels like living jewelry. The contrast between the weathered terracotta and the vibrant succulents is absolutely stunning. Add moss between plants to create natural pathways. Place tiny pebbles to make miniature walkways, and if you want to go full fairy garden, add miniature benches, tiny houses, or small figurines tucked into the broken pot curves. The broken edges create perfect little nooks and hideaways that look completely natural. Why this works so incredibly well is that the natural aging and weathered look of broken pots gives instant character that new planters simply cannot match. Plus, the drainage is absolutely perfect for succulents, since water flows naturally between the levels, preventing any possibility of root rot. Every single person who sees mine asks where I bought such a unique planter. When I tell them it was made from broken pots destined for the trash, they absolutely cannot believe it. My mailman stops to look at it every day, and my neighbor's visiting mother-in-law asked for detailed instructions because she wanted to make one for her garden in Arizona. These look gorgeous year-round, which is perfect for those of us who want four-season garden interest. In winter, frost creates the most beautiful crystalline effects on the succulents, making them look like they're covered in diamonds. During summer, the different textures and colors create this incredible tapestry effect that changes throughout the day as shadows move across the garden. I made 3 different sizes, a large one for my front entrance, a medium one for the patio table, and a small one that sits on my kitchen windowsill. The indoor one has become a conversation starter every time we have guests for dinner. Project 6: Colander Hanging Garden. This transformation is pure genius. We're turning old kitchen colanders into the most gorgeous hanging planters that look like expensive designer pieces you'd see at high-end garden centers for $40 to $60 each. Your simple materials list includes an old metal colander of any size. Thrift stores have these for $1 to $3, or check your own kitchen for ones with loose handles or small dents. Coconut fiber liner or sheet moss chain or strong rope for hanging, potting soil and trailing plants like ivy, petunias, strawberries or cherry tomatoes. The process is absolutely effortless, but the results are spectacular. Line your colander with coconut fiber. Those holes that made it perfect for draining pasta are now perfect for plant drainage. No additional hole poking needed. Fill with potting soil and plant with trailing varieties that will cascade beautifully through the holes as they grow. I planted strawberries in my largest colander, and now I have this incredible hanging strawberry garden that produces fruit and looks absolutely stunning. The strawberry plants trail through the holes, creating this living sphere effect that changes constantly as the plants grow and produce fruit. My grandkids love picking strawberries from the magic hanging garden when they visit. Attach sturdy chains for hanging. I use 3 chains spaced evenly around the rim for perfect balance. Hang from pergolas, tree branches, shepherd's hooks, or even a strong porch overhang. Group different sizes together for amazing visual impact that creates this floating garden effect. Each hanging garden costs $5 to $8 to create but gives you the look of $40 designer hanging basket. Plus, if you plant herbs or strawberries like I did, you get edible returns all season long. My strawberry colander has produced over $20 worth of berries just this summer, and they taste incredible because they're vine-ripened and pesticide-free. The maintenance is practically foolproof, because the natural drainage means you'll never have problems with overwatering. Even during our week of heavy spring rains, my plants stayed healthy while my neighbor's traditional hanging baskets developed root rot from too much moisture. I created a whole collection using different sized colanders, small ones with trailing herbs like thyme and oregano, medium ones with cherry tomatoes, and large ones with strawberry. Hanging at different heights, they create this incredible floating garden effect that makes my small patio feel like a professional greenhouse space. Project 7, Self-Watering Wine Bottle System. Now for something that will absolutely change your gardening game forever. A self-watering system using wine bottles that keeps your plants perfectly hydrated even when you're away for a week. This system has saved me from losing plants during vacation and actually improved my harvest because of consistent moisture. What you'll gather is incredibly simple. Clean wine bottles of any color, corks or bottle caps, a thin nail or small drill bit, water, and plants that need consistent moisture like tomatoes, peppers, or container herbs. Here's the brilliant technique that works like magic. Make a tiny hole in the cork or bottle cap, just big enough for water to drip slowly through. I use a thin nail heated over a candle flame, which melts through plastic caps perfectly. Fill the bottle completely with water, replace the cap and flip it upside down, pushing the neck about 3 inches into the soil near your plant's roots. The science behind this is absolutely perfect. Gravity creates a slow drip system that releases water only when the surrounding soil gets dry. As soil dries, it pulls water from the bottle. When soil is moist, the flow stops automatically. It's like having a sophisticated irrigation system that cost pennies instead of hundreds of dollars. This is perfect for tomatoes, hanging baskets, container plants, or any plants that suffer when you travel. I use these for all my vacation-sensitive plants, and they stay perfectly watered for up to 10 days depending on bottle size and weather conditions. Since using this system, I haven't lost a single plant to drought stress, even during our hottest summer week, when I was visiting my daughter out of state. My tomatoes actually produced more fruit because of the consistent moisture. No more blossom end rot from irregular water. For style, clear bottles practically disappear into the garden, while colored bottles add interesting artistic elements. You can remove labels and etch designs with glass etching cream for a completely custom look that matches your garden aesthetic. I have wine bottles throughout my vegetable garden now, green bottles for my herbs, clear bottles for tomatoes, and blue bottles for my container flowers on the patio. It's become this beautiful functional art installation that keeps everything perfectly watered while adding visual interest. Project 8, Old Sink Water Feature. This final transformation will absolutely blow your mind. We're turning an old kitchen or bathroom sink into a stunning water feature that sounds like it belongs at an expensive resort. This project took my garden from nice to absolutely magical, and everyone who visits asks how much I spent on professional installation. Materials to collect include an old sink, porcelain, metal, or stone. All work beautifully. You can find these during kitchen renovations, estate sales, or architectural salvage stores. A small water pump for $15 to $25, large stones or river rocks, waterproof sealant if your sink has a drain hole, and aquatic plants like water hyacinth or water lettuce if you want extra beauty. Here's the transformation magic that creates resort quality results. Place your sink in a level spot in your garden where you can enjoy the sound of moving water. If it has a drain hole, seal it completely with waterproof putty or silicone caulk. Add your small water pump, cover it with decorative stones so it's completely hidden, and fill with water. The pump creates gentle circulation and the most soothing water sounds. Plant around the edges with moisture-loving plants like hostas, ferns, astilbe, or caladiums. Add floating plants like water hyacinth for extra beauty and natural water filtration. The combination of flowing water surrounding plants and the vintage character of the old sink creates this incredible focal point that transforms your entire garden atmosphere. Total cost runs $20 to $40 for a water feature that would cost $200 to $500 to buy retail. Plus, it attracts birds, butterflies, and beneficial insects, while creating a natural cooling effect during hot weather that makes your entire outdoor space more comfortable. This project holds special meaning for me because it was inspired by my grandmother's old farmhouse sink. Instead of sending it to the landfill during our kitchen renovation, I created this memorial water feature in her memory. It's become my favorite meditation spot where I drink my morning coffee, and the gentle sound of water completely covers neighborhood noise. The maintenance is incredibly simple. add water as needed during hot weather, clean the pump monthly by lifting it out and rinsing, and trim aquatic plants occasionally. In winter you can add a small heater to keep it ice-free and attract winter birds, or simply drain and cover with a decorative lid until spring. My neighbor installed one using an old cast iron sink she found at a barn sale, and it's become the centerpiece of her entire backyard. She planted lavender and rosemary around it, and the combination of water sounds and herb fragrance creates this incredible sensory experience that makes her small urban yard feel like a countryside retreat. There you have it. 8 incredible transformations that prove one person's trash really is another person's garden treasure. Every single project we covered today creates professional-looking results for under $10, and I absolutely guarantee your neighbors are going to be asking for your secret. These projects have completely transformed not just my garden but my entire relationship with what I considered. My grocery bills are lower because I'm growing more food. My garden looks like I hired a professional designer, and I've discovered this incredible satisfaction that comes from creating something beautiful from items destined for the landfill. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me which project you're trying first. Are you excited about that magical fairy garden, the productive herb tower, or maybe that stunning water feature that'll turn your yard into a peaceful retreat? I read every single comment and love celebrating your successes with our Garden Homes community. If you found these ideas helpful and want more budget-friendly garden transformations delivered every week, make sure you're subscribed to Garden Homes. We're building an amazing community of creative gardeners who prove you don't need a big budget to create a dream garden that becomes the envy of the neighborhood. Here's my challenge for you. Try one of these projects this weekend and share your results with us. Tag Garden Homes in your photos because I respond to every comment and absolutely love seeing how you make these ideas your own. Some of our best video ideas come from seeing your creative variations. What other garden challenges should I tackle next? Drop your suggestions below. Maybe old furniture transformations, creative vertical gardening solutions, or budget greenhouse builds using salvaged material. Your ideas inspire our content, and I'm always looking for new ways to help you create more beauty for less money. Remember, your dream garden doesn't require a dream budget. It just requires creativity and the willingness to see potential where others see problems. Until next time, keep growing, keep creating, and keep turning your house into a garden home where every corner tells a story of creativity and resourcefulness.